Welcome back to the Classic and Current Gaming Podcast, a weekly podcast where we look at the history and development of video games. I'm your host, RxDude22. We continue on with Season 3, where we're exploring my top 25 Nintendo games of all time. To recap so far, number 25 was Super Dodgeball, number 24 RC Pro-Am, number 23 Adventure Island, number 22 Kid Icarus, number 21 Duck Hunt, and number 20 Gyromite. This week we look at number 19, one of the greatest sports games to ever grace the Nintendo console. We're looking at Tecmo Super Bowl. Here we go. Tecmo Super Bowl is an American football video game for the Nintendo Entertainment System that was released in December of 1991. Developed by Tecmo, it is the first sports video game that was licensed by both the National Football League and the National Football League Players Association, thus allowing the game to use both the names and attributes of real NFL teams and real NFL players. Prior games used either the real teams, the real players, or fictional substitutes, but not real teams and real players together. The game was a major success, resulting in several follow-ups for subsequent game consoles. The NES original has had an extensive cult following across the decades, with widely covered tournaments as the game modification community provides annual roster updates. It has been variously named as one of the best NES games, one of the best sports games, and one of the most influential video games of all time. Overview. With Tecmo Bowl for NES in 1989, Tecmo had procured an official license from the National Football League Players Association, providing 12 teams and a truncated roster. The full NFL team license was unavailable because of the exclusive license held for another NES game, NFL, published by LJN. We all love LJN. You know, Jaws, Friday the 13th, Nightmare on Elm Street, Major League Baseball. Yeah, that LJN. The success of Tecmo Bowl was followed by the release of Tecmo Super Bowl in 1991 in North America and Japan, for which Tecmo acquired both sets of the NFL and the NFL Player Association's licenses, making it the first and only NES game to feature both real NFL teams and players. Although the game was released in late 1991, all team rosters and player attributes are from the prior 1990-1991 NFL season, so it contains no rookies taken in the 1991 NFL Draft and no player team changes executed before the start of the 1991 season. Tecmo Super Bowl surpasses its predecessor with the complete 1991 league of 28 teams, expanded rosters, expanded playbooks, and statistically tracking including NFL records. Jim Kelly, Randall Cunningham, and Bernie Kosar are represented by generic names of QB Bills, QB Eagles, and QB Browns respectively, because the players were not members of the National Football League Player Association marketing contract. This gameplay foundation would be expanded upon during the course of the series run. Reception. In the United States, Tecmo Super Bowl topped Babbage's NES sales chart for 3 months in 1992 from October to December. At a retail price of $54.99, equivalent to $119 in 2023, it was the most expensive NES game released to date. In 1997, Electronic Gaming Monthly and IGN each named Tecmo Super Bowl as one of the top 100 video games of all time. IGN ranked Tecmo Super Bowl number 53 in its top 100 NES games. Games Radar ranked it number 22 in its list of the best NES games, noting that it may be the only football game from the NES still widely played. PC Magazine ranked the game number 10 in its list of the 10 most influential video games of all time. ESPN named Tecmo Super Bowl the greatest sports video game of all time. Legacy. Sequels and related games. Tecmo produced several direct sequels to Tecmo Super Bowl and other games originating with the Tecmo Bowl engine. 16-bit versions of Tecmo Super Bowl for the Super NES and Genesis were released in 1993, reflecting the rosters and attributes for that season, which fixed many bugs and added some new features. New features included these: improved game graphics and sound, official NFL team logos in the end zones, user-controlled touchbacks, the ability to control a player to attempt a punt block, the in-game option to change plays in a team's playbook during games, a running back dive play option, a designated return team that includes several defensive backs, statistical achievements during games, and 3 weather conditions, sunny, rain, and snow, which can occur randomly in season mode. Accelerated 15-minute and 10-minute quarters can only be used for exhibition and Pro Bowl games. The game can play 3 consecutive seasons from 1991 to 93. Sequels to these versions, Tecmo Super Bowl II Special Edition and Tecmo Super Bowl III Final Edition, were released in subsequent years for the Super NES and Genesis. These were followed by Tecmo Super Bowl for the PlayStation in 1996. Tecmo Super Bowl for the PlayStation sports new features such as a new player editor which can make unlimited amounts of unrestricted trades, change jersey numbers, edit player attributes, edit names, and swap player portraits. It has a play-by-play announcer video voice. Offenses can pick a formation before selecting a particular play. The game has alternate camera angles, instant replay, and the option to adjust AI difficulty in regular season games. This is the last entry in the series to have the NFL and NFLPA licenses and reflected the rosters and attributes of the 1996 season. A Sega Saturn version was in development, but was never released. Subsequent entries such as 2008's Tecmo Bowl Kickoff for the Nintendo DS and 2010's Tecmo Bowl Throwback for the Xbox 360 and PS3 feature generic players and teams due to Electronic Arts obtaining exclusive NFL and NFL Player Association licenses in 2004 for the Madden NFL series. Cult following. Since the advent of modern consoles emulation on computers, Tecmo Super Bowl is one of the most modified NES games. This contributes greatly to its cult following, as it is constantly updated with rosters for college and professional football. Numerous websites are dedicated to pick-up games, online leagues, and message boards for the original game and its mods. In 2016, popularity spiked with 26 national tournaments. Tecmo Madison 13's livestream had 161,076 viewers, and ESPN.com providing coverage. An episode of NFL Films Presents documents the video game and its cult following. Centering on the annual World Championship Tournament in Madison, Wisconsin, the episode includes interviews with NFL greats such as Emmitt Smith and Christian Okoye, who are featured in the original game, and modern NFL players such as Philip Rivers, who discuss their passion for the game. In popular culture, gameplay is featured in the Family Guy episode Run, Chris, Run, where Peter uses Bo Jackson to beat Quagmire. Tecmo Bowl is a central theme for 2 2016 Kia Sorento commercials starring Bo Jackson and playing off his ridiculously advantageous in-game characteristics. One features Brian Bosworth, who had been famously ran over by Jackson during a Monday Night Football game in 1987 as he attempted to score a touchdown. All information in the podcast today was provided by Wikipedia. And that'll bring episode 39 to a close and a recap of number 19 for my top 25 Nintendo countdown for season 3. You can catch the weekly podcast here multiple ways. We have the video presentation of it on YouTube. You can also listen to it on Spotify or your other favorite listening channel as well. We'll be back next week with number 18 on the countdown. It's been RX222 from Classic and Current Gaming signing out. Keep on gaming. See you on the next stream. Be good to each other. And you'll hear and see me on the podcast next week. Everybody have a great week, and we'll see you next time. Take care, everybody.